Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you can find a detailed description of the day's astrological aspects as I have drawn them out here today. Here, I'll discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. Then I'll play another card that, in the context of today's astrology, may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Two of Swords, and it's here because astrologically it relates to the first 10 days or the first decan of the sun's transit in the land of Libra. Libra is an air sign, and swords in tarot are air element symbolism as well. Air element symbolism is about our thoughts, plans, communications, the words we use, the designs we create for our lives, and how we use them as well. With the understanding that, these thoughts, plans, and words can be used to do harm or to do good in the world for ourselves and for others. So here we come to the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is really, it looks to me like a moment of crossroads. It often comes across as indecision, right? Because swords are about the intellect, what's going on in the head. And this person has a blindfold on, they're carrying two swords, so it's like they have two thoughts or ideas or plans that they are entertaining. Each seems to weigh the same as the other, right? It looks like a little bit of a burden to be here at this crossroads or at this point of choice. We can see that the person is sitting in front of some waters that are, not very turbulent, but not exactly calm either. They can probably hear the rustling of those emotions and those intuitive responses. Behind them, the moon hangs over them in a clear blue sky. And this is a reminder, that regardless of what you think or fail to think, your emotions and your intuitions are always there speaking to you. So, we come to this crossroads. We come to a point of decision where we realize that if we make one choice, then probably some other options, some other choices, one other big choice is going to fall away, and it's not going to be an option for us anymore. And, it can kind of be hard to let go of the dream of pursuing both options. Maybe you weren't sure what you were going to do up to this point, and you had this idea that you could do this really ideal, wonderful, fun thing, but now you realize that you have a responsibility to take another option, right? But there's a reminder here also just to go with what your gut is telling you, what your emotions are telling you about it. And another person that I respect and admire on YouTube, her name is Kathy LaDonna, and she has the Soul in Vibration channel. She says about this card that, it may not be so much that you don't know what to do as you're kind of pretending that you don't know what to do, because you know that when you make the choice that you have to make, you make that difficult choice that you have to make, it's going to take some work. It's going to take communicating with people in a way that they might find disappointing. It might take some extra planning on our part, or it might just involve making a plan that we don't want to make, or that we fear making because sort of like the fool stepping off of the cliff, sort of. Maybe we fear making this fresh start because we know that we don't know what's really down the road with that fresh start. In any case, it's important to, again, listen to your emotions and your intuition, because you probably know what choice it is that you have to make, and you're aware of what it is that you're going to have to give up. And sitting here in this state of indecision, pretending to be undecided, pretending you don't know what you have to do, really is, it's wasting your time, and it's wasting the time of others as well. And honestly, it's causing your options to diminish the longer you wait as well. So, now is the time, to go ahead and weigh your pros and cons really quick, but definitely follow what your intuition, what your gut and guidance are telling you that you need to do. Go ahead and make that difficult choice and get started making your plans, having the hard conversations if that's what's going to come up. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn over this card. Oh, friends, we got the Lovers. Okay, so the Lovers is a major arcana card, and so it's sort of a bigger message, right? A stronger message than the Two of Swords. Two of Swords over here saying either you're undecided about something or you're pretending to be undecided so that you don't have to take action on something you know you have to do, but eventually you're going to have to do it, right? The Lovers really indicates, finding a strong connection with somebody, and very likely a strong romantic or sexual connection, or it can just point to the longing that we have for a strong connection to somebody, if we don't find that we have one right now. It also points to the temptation that comes up when we fall in love with somebody in that really deep and strongly felt sort of way, this temptation to ignore the other things in life, ignore the important choices that we have to make, and ignore ignore our own trajectory in life sometimes, right? Like when we fall in love and we're spending all of our time with that person, maybe we're like hanging out with them a lot, sharing intimacy with them a lot. Sometimes there's this temptation to say, school doesn't matter as much as the time I spend with this person. My job doesn't matter as much as the time I spend with this person. There's a temptation to just let everything else go because nothing really matters. Nothing really feels like it matters as much as that connection that you feel. And if you're not in a place where you're feeling that connection to somebody, it can still be a very distracting thing, right? Like wanting that connection to come into your life, knowing that you've felt that sense of connection before and desiring for it to come back, desiring that support and that friendship that comes with a heady romance, wanting it, desiring it, thinking about it, wondering when it's going to come to us. That can also be as much of a distraction as having it, right? Like if we are so worried about getting those needs met, then we might actually be missing opportunities in the rest of our life. We might be missing opportunities for friendship. We might be missing opportunities for work. We might be missing opportunities for connecting to some higher education. Those kind of things that come in and expand our life. When a lover comes into your life, when a good love comes into your life, that should expand your life, and it should support your further personal expansion. When you have a strong love in your life, it shouldn't be difficult to have this conversation that says, I have to choose this other thing, or if it's difficult, at least that you'll have their support when you have to choose a thing that maybe doesn't come across as convenient, or doesn't come across as sort of tying this love together. Okay, a strong love, a love that is meant to be, a partnership that is meant to last, will be available, okay, when we're done doing the work that we have to do. And it's really bringing me back to Venus trine to Neptune here, because this is like our open, receptive hearts, just, seeking that ideal of creative potential, right? Seeking this relationship from which we can create the things that love relationships create, whether that be families, or that be, your idea of a home, or, perhaps this means you'll always have a business partner, you'll always have somebody to back you up. Our hearts are really open right now to a positive transformation that is available. So we're idealizing a lot of things. We have this intuitive clarity about what would be ideal for us, what we really desire. And a lot of us desire this kind of love in our life, and we don't. If we're not in the place where we have found it, then, you know, we might be thinking very strongly like that, about that. We might be very distracted, in fact, by our thoughts of desiring that strong love relationship. And, you know, it is important. You know, personally, in my life, I have not struggled to find love. So I don't know that I can really relate to that feeling, you know, that really feeling lonesome as though you're never going to get that need met. I know there are people out there who have never really been in love, or maybe were in love once or twice a long time ago, but now something has happened and they're not able to attract that into their lives, or they just haven't attracted that into their lives yet. And that's a very frustrating place to be in. I understand that from sort of an external perspective. You know, I know that if I didn't have love in my life, I'd probably be pretty focused on finding it. But we, again, cannot allow that to distract us, friends, from the things that we need to do, the choices that we need to make, you know, to move forward with our lives, because our whole life is not just our romantic or our love relationship, okay? Our whole life has to do with the work that we're doing in the world. What is our soul's purpose to do in the world? What kind of labor are we made to do? What kind of, you know, what kind of things come easy to us, and what is our trajectory forward in life? You know, these things, you know, they come back to like work, and they come back to friendship, they come back to our social lives, our civic involvement, and most importantly, our relationship with ourselves. Because, you know, you've heard me say this probably recently, we have to be able to live with ourselves, you know, before we can really live with another. And that doesn't mean, you know, I want to make this clear. You don't have to do all of your healing and all of your personal work. You don't have to be like an entirely, completely healed and fully operational human being in order to find good love in your life, or in order to deserve to have good love in your life. We can be on a healing path and find a good partner that will, you know, that will be patient with us and support us as we learn and grow. But, you know, we do have to, you know, hopefully be in a place before we find that love where we know what it is that we want to do with our lives, and you know, that where we have a trajectory for ourselves. We have our own idea about what we want to do. We have our own hobbies and activities. We have our own group of friends. We have our own job. We don't have to rely on another person to bring about the rest of our lives for us, okay? So that when that strong, that true love comes into our life, when that good partnership comes into our life, they're not, you know, they don't have to do sort of the work of our friends, and the work of our parents, and the work of our bosses, and the work of our, you know, they only have to do the work of being our lover, of being our, you know, our personal sort of the person that we turn to for care and to give care to. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about it, friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more astrology today and tarot.